also graduate in student ministry. So we have discussed 8 objectives of ECF. So more or less our roles also involved there. But some few hallmarks of graduate in ministry which I will be discussing now. A few hallmarks. The first hallmark is equipping the student. Our main role is to equip the student. Equipping the students so that they take up leadership while they are in campus. If they take up leadership while they are in campus, then chances are very high that when they move out from the campus, they will take leadership also. I'm not saying I'm taking up leadership in UESI ministry now, but yes, when we were in our 8th, 9th, 10th grade, we were introduced to this ministry. So since we were introduced in this ministry and our pioneers, our gurus have, introduced us to this ministry now, the tendency is high for me to say yes again because I know the good part of this ministry. So it's easy for me to say yes again to this ministry. So our hallmark of ECF in this UESI ministry is equipping the student to take up leadership. So that when they move out in life, they will also take up leadership. See, look, they pass their 12th standard, then they go for their graduation, and then after their graduation, chances are very high that they may become officers, or they may become a big entrepreneurs, or they may become a missionary. Whatever job they take up, they will also give back to the ministry. That's why equipping the student while they are in campus is very important. And this is one important hallmark of graduate in ministry. And the second hallmark that ECF have an important role is graduate have to be a role model. Like I said earlier, the testimony is very important. I've given the example also. My colleague have just asked me to buy a pan, but to go and stand in the pan shop is like something, something I may project a negative side. So you will also not be very happy to see me. I've seen one incident. Some 2 years ago, we have to shift from new old market to new market, and the women themselves were fighting among each other. So you will not be happy seeing me in that, Or some few months ago, I came for food in my grandmother's house, and I have to drive back late in the evening to my house. Then I heard people saying that Tamenglong I heard people say that, but I've never seen it in my eyes. So that day I went back home very late, and I see a group of ladies just below the Zodona Park. They were literally sitting on the side of the road, and they were like, apating granat. So, and that day I stopped by the vehicle to buy some medicine for my son. Wow, I heard people saying that I have never seen it. So you will not be happy as a graduate. You should be a role model for the student. You will not be happy any graduate for that matter. So no, I don't know what is there in Tamay parking. People say Tamay parking, some synonym, wrong synonym is being portrayed to that Tamay junction. So just to pass by that road also, because it's a wrong negative projection synonyms. So as a graduate, we must be a role model for the student. That is very, very important. So even if I want to talk, even if I want to say, even if I want to stand there, even if I want to dress, even if I want to slap, or even if I want to cry, or even if I want to laugh, or even if I want to eat, you are a role model. Therefore, your emotion control should be there in every sphere of your work life. Say for example, it's so very lazy for me to come down to school, say for example, and then my school is very far and my house is very far. So sometimes it's very easy for me to say, sir, Prof, today I may not be able to come. I don't have any work in the house, say for example. But, you know, that guiltiness speaks in my heart. I'm talking about people who are sending substitute there. Then me adjusting the class. Hope I don't guilty consciousness no I can't. Right? So that is the role model we have to projects. Then simplicity, hospitality. Last few months, we have this additional SP posted in Tamenglong, Kanao, Lekabon. Now he's SP in Samy Pame district. They are graduates. You know, they are IPS officers. Just a live example that we have seen even in our town. They are IPS officer. They must be like, you know, they can have the, you know, show off thing. But they are very down to earth. In their house also, they open up their house. They are willing to share, willing to talk to you. Last year, I don't know whether the students are here in this group. Last year, there was some few groups of new students who were having some problem in Trinity Public School. Where I don't know whether they performed their duty because they did not perform their duty, we don't know. But the school management says that they cannot write their exams. So this our SP was like so concerned for the student. And when we crisscross with the school management, there was some failures from the side of the student body as well. But then some was like that our SP was like so concerned for the life of the student. No, shall we talk? Shall we negotiate? Shall we call them? Shall we consult them? Shall we call? That kind of loving, caringness for the student has to be there as a graduate. So that is one important hallmark of graduate in the ministry. Whenever you go out in life, whenever you grow high in life, we always have to be humble. Simplicity, humbleness have to be there. I have another life experience of Uncle Dr. Daivo, who is no more now. When I first went to Don Bosco College Marang to work there, he was like very kind to me. He's like, I'm from Tamenglong, so he was like, I have been there. He made me comfortable during our first meeting. Then every time he passed through, there is one very important chai tea hotel where at 3 o'clock they used to fry these hot samosas and hot jalebis. So whenever he has to cross that area, first they have to cross that area and then he has to cross my college. So whenever he cross that area, he buy that hot jalebis for me, thinking that I love jalebis. I've been there in South India for like 10 years, so my taste buds and everything is like hang so he knows that I love jalebis, so he used to buy the hot jalebis for me. A small act. I think that is what we graduates have to do, a small act. So it's very encouraging now. A big guy, buying a samosas. They call him woman, they love my little, but it is so encouraging. So as graduates, we have to be caring for our fellow graduates, caring for our students. So that plays a very important role. Graduates as a role model. And another hallmark of graduates to be in this ministry is prayer. We have to be very brave. So in order to lead a spiritual life, in order to lead a righteous life, because we are human beings on earth, once we remove the skin, it's hemoglobin flowing. No, it's blood. We are not angels here. So every day, from various sources, we are tempted to be lazy, tempted to not pray, tempted to be cheating, tempted to be, from various angles we are tempted. So in order to stay grounded as easier and to be a role model, I think the hallmark of graduate to be in this ministry is one important weapon that you and I must always have as graduate. And to be graduate is prayer. Prayer is very important, and let's not forget that. So we can have prayer, we can divide the prayer groups also, like someone is sick in my family, Brother Gagung, please pray. Or Brother Gagung, can you please pray during this particular award, some intercessory prayer chain. So these are the activities, not just praying all night, but these are the activities where graduate can employ, so that the prayerful weapon in us remains all the time. And then another important hallmark as graduates we must follow is finance. So everyone knows, you will be knowing by this time, the UESI ministry is a non-profit organization. You know, our brother Gazon has just he has highlighted already. It's like it's a non-profit base. But in order to run the ministry, say for example today we have to organize this one-day training program. We have to have this team, and then at the end of this we'll be having our sumptuous lunch or dinner. I don't know, early dinner and late lunch. We all will be having. Okay, so with that thoughts, so this ministry is like non-profit. There is no money, so finance is also very important. So where will the money comes from? So it's a faith ministry. It is till today the organization, the ministry is like extending, growing bigger and bigger. It is growing bigger and bigger because it is a faith ministry and God do provide. But still then we have to also train our graduate to, recently they have washed a blanket to organize some fun, and then now our sister Helen says she will be introducing art and crafts and all that, right? So as EZF we also have to guide them, as graduate we also have to guide them on how to raise the fund, because it's our faith ministry, we do not have money per se, so it's a faith ministry. As graduate we must also show the role model on how money can be generated. We must also lead an exemplary life that if we have faith, God do provide. Say for example, we are organizing this program and we will be having dinner, early dinner or late lunch, I don't know. It's a faith ministry. So God speak to the person of some few believers, graduates. So God speak to them and they contribute. So we're going to have a sumptuous dinner and this program is going to be successful. So how to raise finance, how to give by faith, and how to motivate students, and how you practice your faith by giving should be also one of our weapon if we have to make this ministry a successful one. So with these 4 hallmarks of graduate ministry, equipping the student, we must equip the student while they are young, while they are in campus, so that when they go out, they go back, training other fellow graduates. A simple example, a very humble example is me. I was introduced by our Nasara when I was in my 9th and 10th grade. Now I'm still here in this ministry. And to the least level of my capacity, I'm also contributing. So we were trained young, and that's how we are still here. So like that, equipping the student is very important. A role model is another important hallmark. Prayer is also another important hallmark, and managing the finance, Sister of Sam also has shared, managing the finance, showing the student how to apply faith ministry, how to raise fund, and giving back should also be one of the harms. So this is the four hallmarks every graduate should practice, and that's how we should practice for the student ministry.